Welcome back to Streamline Entertainment. It's Marvin speaking. We're going to get back into a reaction video. Sonia Poulton talking to Duncan Smith and Jan's views as well. Interesting Jay Slater case.
Diverts from that is problematic. And Debbie gave an interview with Camilla Tominey, and Camilla Tominey is as establishment a hack as you can possibly get. But they turned off the comments, unlike here where we leave the comments on so people can have their say. But it is concerning, Duncan. And so do you think ultimately we're reaching a point with the aid of Jay's story where anybody who questions any official narrative will be either subject to police investigation or what? What do you think, Duncan?
I think we're already there. I've had, numerous communications, threats, all the rest of it. But Sonia, I don't live in the UK anymore, and one of the reasons I left a long time ago was because I could see the way it was going, that you can say certain things online, no problem. But if you cross a line and certain groups or certain people, the Jay's Law is mentioning, the families of missing persons, you simply cannot say anything. And I don't accept that. I know this sounds extreme, but I would rather go to a different jurisdiction where for the rest of my life, I can say exactly what I want. And Sonia, I do word what I say very carefully. I'm very precise. If I say, this is my idea, or it seems to me, or allegedly, a lot of us are very careful how we phrase what we put out there. And when you're told, you're not going to be able to say that under Jay's Law, it's a very, very dark day.
It is a dark day, and what really concerns me is bad law is made on the back of the behavior that is considered the worst of us, right? Now, there will be people who will have said stuff about Jay online, which I will find absolutely agree.
I've said that. I think there were some awful things that was actually said, but it certainly didn't come from us. And Duncan has the right to question what he thinks is very, very wrong in this case, as well as Jan.
Egregious, right? Because I always do bear in mind these are grieving parents, this is a grieving family, and I want to acknowledge that as well, but not to the point where we must be silenced about something that simply does not add up. Now, Jan, you and I think, are both on the same page here, and that is the official narrative doesn't add up, but to question it puts you in this weird situation. I mean, has this directly impacted you yet? What kind of, have you been doxxed? Have you been what have you been subject to as a consequence of asking questions, Jan?
Well, firstly, I mean, the major one was, I think, when I did a live stream with Duncan, and I wasn't prepared for the amount of abuse and targeted harassment within my own live stream, and it was insane. The hatred, we're called everything, and it goes beyond just saying, oh, shut up, you daft bint.
This is right. It gets personal. Like basically, Wax was called every name under the sun, which is absolutely sickening. And like I said, Jan's bringing up the same case again. Myself and Ali got lots of personal abuse at the end of the day, which was there was just no need for it. And all we wanted to do was have a conversation. And like I said, all you got to do is just block these people. And, but you're always going to get people that's not going to agree with you. And a lot of it is because the truth is being told.
Or something like that. It's very personal, and I wasn't aware of it to begin with, and then I saw that somebody had written something in there specifically about Duncan and personal things, and I thought, this is insane. We're not just coming online just to have a pop at people. We're talking about things that we have investigated. We have proof of it. We have receipts, as they say online. And to try and attack us is just disgusting. I think it goes beyond trolling. And they've looked back at all our old videos, and it's just insane. It's like, just stop.
Yeah, absolutely. Because as I said before, and that is, that it may take down one person you dislike, but it'll ultimately take us all down. So I see anybody's attempts at clamping down on our freedom of speech as egregious, whether I agree with them or not. It's irrelevant to me. I think that we're seeing enough online as it is now. Duncan, you mentioned about Jay's Law. Is that like a legitimate title that they're trying to push through?
Well, firstly, I've never heard of a law that's being pushed through under the name of someone that was convicted for, violent assault. That's a little bit unusual. And we've got to speak the truth here. Jay had a violent past. Yeah. So I don't think it's a good idea to have Jay's name attached to this law. It's a minor point. It's the actual law that worries me greatly. I don't think it's going to go very far. I mean, who knows in this day and age? Are there enough parliamentarians that think that shutting people up talking about a missing persons case is a good idea? Maybe. I don't think.
I think if it's aggressive trolls who threaten people's lives, who threaten to beat them up or threaten to stab them or use a gun, then yeah, I think that a harder law deterrent should come in there. But for people who actually can be contacted by the police and are coming out with views because they believe in that, they don't believe in the narrative that basically Jay fell to his death, then it's fair enough. It's each to his own. People are feeling very, very uncomfortable in this case in what they're supposed to believe in. And that is a massive problem. And if people are going to come out and throw their dummies out the pram just because we're not agreeing, that's a massive problem to them, should I say.
I think so. But Sonia, I just want to point out one really serious situation that goes with this Jay's Law proposal. And that is, if someone that is found to have been giving out misinformation in a missing persons case, does that mean that you are liable for charges? Like someone that says, I'm pretty sure I saw that boy in this town at 6 p.m.
Right.
And then that turns out not to be the case.
Right.
Is someone going to be calling you and saying, and then you hurt the feelings of a missing person's family, and now we have to bring charges? So we may find that people are very, very reluctant. I would be very reluctant to step forward and confidently say, I think I have some information that could help you. Because the way it is phrased at the moment, if that turns out to be misinformation, then I'm in trouble. What is the end game here? That the public shouldn't say what they think has happened in a case? That is very dangerous.
That is very dangerous indeed. And it takes me back to one of the kind of, most famous missing people cases that we have, which is Madeleine McCann. And that is something that is of great interest to me. I've made 2 documentaries. And if somebody told me that I could stop questioning that, I would have a real big problem, because that involves so much corruption. It's extraordinary. And I don't believe for a second that the parents have done everything that they possibly.
Much like the Jay Slater case, there's so many unanswered questions, and there's a lot I feel uncomfortable with right from the start of the very story, where basically Debbie got off that plane and got that message. That was very, very alarming for any mother to receive that, and it's taken very seriously. And I'm sure it still plays on her mind as well. And I think that with no doubt there were threats in don't pursue this case, because there are some big time criminals behind this case who are trying to keep it under wraps and don't want to be mentioned. It's as simple as that. And this is why I think Brandon, Brad and Lucy were running scared, to be honest with you.
Could, including reconstructions. So the idea that we can't question, or that it's going to be problematic to question missing persons is really alarming to me indeed.
Yeah.
Jan, thank you. That's a good point, Ian. It is. Ian, is it Ian or Duncan? I'm confused. Duncan.
I'm fine with either. I go with Duncan because that's what most people call me. Ian's my first name. It doesn't matter, Sonia.
Right. But just before we go, Jan, obviously you came to me, you wanted to make these points, and I take them as well. And I want to give both of you an opportunity to say a kind of final thing to my audience. So Jan, do you want to say your final piece, what you want my audience to know? And then we'll go to Duncan.
Yes, well, firstly, I want to say thank you so much, Sonia. I really appreciate you giving, us the opportunity to have our voices heard, because the things that are being put out by mainstream media are just so unfair, because at the end of the day, we are people, as you can see. I'm an artist, Duncan is a translator, we all do different things, and to try and lump us all together as some sort of virus within online is just so unfair. So I want to thank you so very much for that, Sonia. I really appreciate it.
No
and
problem.
That's it, really.
It's all about free flow of conversation for me, and I think that's important. And equally, I would give other people who oppose the Jay Slater story a platform as well. Were they being targeted and demonized by a major broadcaster? But that's not what's happened. It's only one side who have been targeted and demonized. So on that note, Duncan, you were targeted and demonized. What final thing do you want to say to my audience?
I just want to say, before Duncan finishes his point, Wax, did come out. He was actually talking to Warren, who told him to keep going, because I think Warren at that time didn't get the answers that he expected from the friends and what he was being told. And like I said, I still think that there are a lot of unanswered questions that Warren doesn't feel happy with. And it was said after the inquest he didn't feel happy with it, but he had to go with it because, like I said, the coroner's report for them seemed correct and in line that basically Jay had an accident. But like I said, for me, there weren't enough questions to Rocky, Ayub, Brandon mostly, and Lucy. And I think both the parents did not trust Lucy and Brandon, and who they knew and their connections as well. And those two protected themselves. And that's why I think they were ostracized when they went to Jane's funeral and weren't allowed into the pub. Because, like I said, I think a lot of people weren't happy with what they had to say, and some of those youngsters probably knew that they had more involvement than what they're saying in Jay's death.
Two final things, if I might, Sonia. Very quickly.
You may. Yes.
Number one, this demonization. Some people don't realize that a lot of our followers, whether it be Wax, Jan, myself, whoever, a lot of our followers are also grieving mothers. We have many that have said they have lost someone, their son or daughter got killed or got, in trouble abroad. And they fully support us. So it's not the divide that we have grieving mothers on one side and those that are against them on the other. Very much on our side that want free speech and want more questions asked about what happened in the Jay Slater case. They've gone through the same thing in some situations as Debbie. So there isn't really that divide. It's a false divide. Second thing I want to point out, Sonia, is that when we get lumped, if you want to call us armchair detectives or sleuths, whatever, when we get lumped with trolls, that is a complete misnomer, because I've done over 500 videos on the Jay Slater case, and I'm not doing all the work. The people that supply information to me are actually professionals. They are retired in most cases, but they're well educated. I have writers, doctors, retired police officers.
There you go. There you go. Much like myself and Ali, there were people in Tenerife, reporters that were sending us information. There was even friends, basically, that knew Jay that were out there, which Ali could talk about, that actually knew Jay from his area, were giving us information as well, that there's off-key stuff going on there and they can't make sense of it. And Jay was definitely in some kind of trouble and his friends weren't helping him. We got that from day one. There were people pointing me out names and photos of people that were Tom H's friends at the end of that were there at the NRG festival. There was a lot of information, which was, we can't always put it back out there. A lot of information did go to the police, but we didn't hear anything back because I think the police were told, by the Guardians of Field, look, there's no criminal investigations, and technically it happened in Tenerife, and the British police shouldn't really pursue it. That's what I got from the case. I mean, to be honest, it seems like to me we were strung along a little bit in this case when this documentary was being made. From technically very start, I think contracts were signed, and it just gives us a different perspective of this case, which I don't know. It just seemed a little bit strange, and I don't feel comfortable in why would you do that when basically your son had died. It is bizarre. In Sonia and obviously Duncan and Jan brought up as well. It is weird, to be honest with you, but like I said, Ali always said, follow the money.
I have men on the ground, well, one man on the ground in Tenerife that goes by to check things out. This is not just some troll typing away for fun. I put hours of research, and before I put anything out there, I filter it through, I look at it, and I think, is this worth putting out there?
Yeah.
This is something that we work very hard on. Now, if you disagree with what we say, that's fine. But just to label us as trolls and put us in the, you're out there to cause problems, not at all. It is not what you think. There's a lot of work goes into what we produce.
I take that point, and that's very interesting that you raised that issue about that's another kind of false divide that's been created, isn't it? It's very emotive. I'm extremely emotive as a parent myself. My heart absolutely goes out to Jay's parents, but I'm going to be very clear here. It is not for them to decide or direct how people examine a case that is in the public interest, and that is really my position. Thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate it. We have had some people, as you can imagine, who are very upset in the comments, but some people are very grateful that you're here as well. So it's a balance. It's a balance. And I've been around this block many times. A little bit of trolling never worried me at all. Jan, thank you for contacting me. I very much appreciate it. Duncan, thank you for joining us today. Everybody, I will put a link in the description to both these people's channels, and I'm very grateful that they were prepared to step up to the plate and have a live conversation with me. And a live conversation in itself can be problematic. They didn't even know what I was going to throw at them. I could throw anything at them. So thank you. Thank you for being brave enough to face it. Take good care of yourself. Duncan and Jan, lovely to have you with us. Take good care of yourself. Lovely. Wonderful. And
so that was it. That was absolutely brilliant, to be honest with you. And I'm glad that Duncan and Jan got a bigger platform and obviously get their points across that they're not abusive, that we're not abusive, nasty people, and that we do make some good points if people will actually listen to us. And we were willing to all go around a table with the accident crew and resolve issues that we felt uncomfortable with. But nothing was ever answered. And this is why we are still going.
And and I'm glad we had that conversation. Thank you. You're welcome, Joanne. Justice for Jay's parents. Okay, I get that. What justice? What justice? Talk to me. Leave Jay Slater's parents alone. Tell me, what justice for Jay's parents? Because I don't know if there is justice that can be had for Jay's parents at this stage. Their son died in circumstances that are still highly questionable. Surely the justice should be that the truth should be told. No, maybe I got that wrong. No, I haven't. Thank you, Joanne. Thank you all. Justice for Jay Slater. Absolutely. I think it's really important to keep asking questions. Absolutely. Justice for all. Right. Lovely to have you all with us. Right.
Yeah, that was Sonia Poulton with guests there. I wish it was a little bit longer, to be honest with you, and Duncan could have made some points about the case. Maybe she will, Sonia, if she has time, will maybe have Wax on there as well. And like I said, we can pinpoint things we feel uncomfortable at the case. That would be important. Or maybe we can get probably to get together on audio with Duncan and Jan, and basically on points of view they feel uncomfortable. That'll be interesting. I'll talk to Ali about that as well, and we could see whether we can do a live with Jan and Duncan as well. That'd be interesting in myself and Ali. Let me know what you think, people. I thought it was informative. I wish it went on a bit longer. I wish Duncan and Jan could have gone a bit deeper. But like I said, Sonia has a massive platform and she's talking about so many different cases, and obviously world events as well, being obviously basically an ex-reporter. Let me know what you think, people. Don't forget to subscribe to Streamlight Entertainment and follow the channel. Appreciate you all. Thank you very much.